What's up everybody, what's happening, what's going on? Welcome to a quick with extra feels video. Look at these lizards. Yo, it's a mama and a baby. Currently on a hike. And I was just thinking about, or talking to myself about sort of the relationship that we have with pain, and how I was thinking it's like, I understand pain to be a very natural and normal component of existence as a human. Can't have pleasure without pain, and can't have light without dark, and so the pain is inevitable. And you might also argue that the suffering is inevitable, although I would argue that the amount we suffer is dependent on our mindset mostly. But I was thinking, like, how do we make it worth it? How do we make life and the pain and the suffering of being a human worth it? Well, aside from coming to places like this, which make it all seem very much worth it, connecting with nature, remembering all the joys of life, connecting with other people, witnessing ourselves move through different seasons of our lives, and witness ourselves achieve things that we never thought we'd be able to achieve, fall in love and feel love and discover what it feels like to give and receive love. On our journey to discovering what love feels like, we have to find out what it doesn't feel like first. So that's kind of the inevitable reality of the duality of pain and pleasure, or fear and love. Quite often, or more often than not, I think we discover things, learn about things through the opposite of them. We have to learn these things for ourselves and with our own experience. But how do we make it all worth it, apart from like remembering those moments and knowing that those too are aspects of life, even though they might not seem like those good feelings don't come around as often as we might want or prefer. Purpose is a word that gets thrown around a lot, and it's certainly something that on my journey I've been like, oh, what's my purpose in life? What's the point in my life? Why am I here? I think it's a really important question to ask, even on a daily basis, but it can be quite stressful. I found it to be quite stressful before I kind of had a solid understanding of what I believe my purpose to be, like the reason for my existence. Why am I here? Why do I live? Why am I moving through all this suffering? Why am I here witnessing so much pain and so much illusion and war and greed and oppression and all of the things that are alive in humanity right now? I see it all and I'm like, why? So it's an important question to ask, right? The important thing is not necessarily like exactly what it is that you're doing, or what we choose to do, what I choose to do with my time here, but why I do it. And so obviously it's advised to make use of the unique skill sets that we are born with, or that we have developed over multiple lifetimes, including this one. For example, I've made like 1,300 videos. I'm pretty good at editing videos, so like I do that. I'm pretty good at taking photos because I've been taking them for 20 years, and I reckon I was taking photos in a previous lifetime as well. So there's a good entry. What am I good at? And usually the things that we're good at make us feel a level of contentment and satisfaction. And so is that not enough? Just to be content and satisfied that one is enjoying what it is that we're doing here. And I think that's like pretty much like it really. Like I'm I love to take photos, and I love to make little films, and I love to capture light and share it. And so that becomes the reason for living. That becomes the reason to get out of bed in the morning. It becomes the reason to get an early night and wake up for the sunrise. And when you have a why am I doing this? What's the reason for it? It's way easier to move through the pain of and suffering of human existence, because you're like, I know why I'm doing this. And everybody's why can be different, and it's totally unique. And we mustn't judge other people's whys for doing things. If someone, like for me, I'm not super interested in, I don't get a lot of satisfaction necessarily from like wearing the latest shiny sneakers, or having a really expensive watch, or like the material side of things doesn't really tickle my fancy. It does in some ways, and certainly like I enjoy nice things, but like it's not the reason I earn money. I don't earn money to buy nice things. I earn money so that I can buy myself time to spend my life in nature, and so the shiny things don't fill my heart with joy. They give me certainly a fun little hit of dopamine and self-importance, and like a little celebration. And it's so interesting as a human to play with the toys that we create, like these beautiful timepieces. I do enjoy watches, but like I don't spend money on watches. I think if I did have extra like money, I probably would buy a nice watch, but it's not like high on the top of my priority list. So I don't get out of bed in the morning to make money to buy the latest Nikes. Why do I get out of bed in the morning? Why do I take photographs? Because it makes me happy. It brings me joy. It brings me joy when I see other people enjoying my art, my work, and it brings me like an even deeper sense of contentment and purpose-filled satisfaction when I see people being inspired by my work, who then might change their behavior to move from something that might not be quite so healthy into something a little bit more healthy, even if that's just deciding to go into nature and be reminded of the spectacular infinite intelligence that we are innately a part of. And that, to me, that experience, so my why is like inspire people to reconnect with nature, and in the process of that why, I get to be in nature more. I get to have fun taking photos and doing the things I love, and so that's like my purpose. My purpose is simply to do what makes me happy. And what makes me most happy is to also be of service to other people, to help others, and that journey of becoming more available to help others has been a journey of becoming more available to help myself. So that's also a big part of why I get out of bed in the mornings. And there are a lot of people some people, their purpose is to simply be the best mum they can be, or the best dad, the best parent, or the best teacher, or the best. And some souls are like, give me the stress, that's where I learn about, and I come back to remember who I truly am. And my purpose becomes learning to thrive instead of just survive. Maybe our purpose, our shared purpose, our collective purpose is just to love each other and be there for each other and support each other and help each other move through the inevitable pain of existence. And that's kind of what this video is about a little bit. It's like, if you're feeling like your life is painful and you're feeling like you don't have purpose, or you don't have reason or meaning to exist, then this video is for you. I can relate to you. I can relate to that. And probably asking, yeah, well, how do I know what my skills are, my unique gifts, what I'm bringing? What could I possibly bring, you might be asking yourself. Well, just the fact that you're here. We need you. Every single human that is on earth right now is needed. If you're at a stage in your life where you don't know what your purpose is and you don't know what your skills are and you just don't know, then you can find purpose in simply existing by witnessing other humans and witnessing planet Earth, witnessing nature, maybe just witnessing the season that you're in right now. Look at it, feel it, understand it or don't understand it, it doesn't really matter, but just feel it. And that might be the purpose that is being invited of you. And then purpose might change after that. You might meet your twin flame, and then suddenly your purpose becomes like, whoa, I want to love this person for the rest of my life. And then you have like a mission that aligns with your purpose of learning to love yourself so that you can be unlimited in the amount of love that you give to others. So yeah, I think purpose is just about finding meaning in life, meaning in the suffering, meaning in the pain. Why do I get out of bed in the morning? And when you can find that, for some reason, especially men, especially the masculine, we need a reason for existing. I think for the feminine, for women, they are literally the portals to bring life into existence through their fucking sacred wombs. They are life-giving portals. Women are like, I just am. I don't need any purpose. Like none of you would exist without your mothers. That's plenty of purpose for me, but for men, it's like, I need a reason. I don't know why that is exactly. Hopefully I'll learn. Look at this beautiful forest. So yeah, if you're struggling to find purpose for your life right now, and it feels like the pain, it doesn't feel worth it. You're like, why am I even here? This ain't worth it. I'm feeling so much pain. I'm suffering. I'm hardly getting any joy out of this life thing. What am I supposed to be doing? Well, you're not alone, firstly, and I'm sorry that you're feeling like that. And I definitely don't want to invalidate your feelings and your experience, because life is fucking hard. And like, I can say that from someone who hasn't really suffered in my life. I can see and feel from other people's perspective how hard life can really get. And I'm super lucky that I haven't had to suffer that much in my life. But I do feel other people suffering. I'm very empathic like that. So I feel you, and I love you, and keep going, because although it might not be clear exactly why you are alive right now, it will become really clear if you start also opening up to discovering, why am I here? And it's actually quite a beautiful place to be, I've found, right at sort of almost the end of your tether, where it's like, well, fuck, like, why am I here? Like, what? In those moments when I felt like it's not worth me being alive, I thought, well, maybe I can just dedicate my life and hand this life over, rather than I can become of service and help others, and that can be my purpose for now, because I can't find any other reason for living. So I'm just going to go ahead and help others. I can only help others as much as I help myself. So now, if I really want to be in service to others, I really have to become in service to myself. And then it's kind of like a process of letting go of the character that I had to let go of, the character that I was playing. My body telling me, you're pretending to be someone you're not right now. And so I'm like, fuck, this ego, this persona, this personality, this identity that I've formulated and created, and my culture has helped mold and shape, and my upbringing, my parents and my family and my relationships, my community, and all the things I've achieved and all the things I've failed at, all the things that I've created, all the love that I felt and lost, all the times that I thought I was feeling love but wasn't feeling love, all the pain that I felt and all the strength that I've discovered in those moments of pain. This is all what shapes who I think I am. And depression was like, yeah, a lot of that is shaping who you are, but it's not actually who you are. I was identifying with my achievements, with my failures. I was identifying with my state of mind. I was identifying with my bank balance, my friendship groups, my relationships, and I was identifying as the things that I was doing. I was the YouTuber, the photographer, and depression was like, for me, my experience with depression was like, you think you're these things, but I'm here to remind you that you are embodying and living a character that's wearing a mask that is inauthentic to who you truly are. And so then I was like, well, fuck, who am I then? And that is a really gnarly place to be. Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I even here? And from that place, it's so beautiful, because then I can really see, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. This ego that I've created for myself is just a story. And that's painful. That ego death is like, fuck. And then this void opens up where I'm like, well, who am I then? And in my experience, that's where like astrology came in, and like this ancient scripture and ancient astrology wisdom, whether you believe it or not, because there's a skeptic in me that's like, fuck that's all nonsense. But then there's a part of me that's like, yeah, but at this stage, identifying with anything would be really nice. Like, I don't know who the fuck I am or what I'm doing here. So then we start to build up that identity again, and we get to choose. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's like, we know that the person that we are presenting to the world is often a character, but with awareness of that, we can choose who that character is. And I'm not saying that I'm being inauthentic to you right now. I'm playing some character. The way I'm feeling in my body right now is that my heart is open, my mind is clear, and I'm able to communicate and from a place of truth as I share my experiences. And my body feels harmonious and energized and at peace, and I don't need anything right now. And those are all indicators that I am embodying myself authentically and speaking from a place of authenticity. If I start speaking about something that I have no experience on as if I have experience on it, or I start telling lies about things, then my throat might start to close up a little bit, and you probably could tell that I was being inauthentic. So that's how we can kind of discover our true authentic selves, just by doing life and allowing ourselves to respond to life, and being mindful over when we might be pretending to be someone and putting this mask on, and which I found in my experience, I was often putting the mask of happiness on, and that was causing my depression to get louder, because my depression got louder all the times that I put on a mask of happiness, when internally inside my authentic self was like, you're not happy, you're feeling anxious, and someone would say, hey, how are you? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm great. Because I firstly didn't want the person to know that I wasn't great, because then they'd start to get worried about me, and then they might start asking questions that I didn't want to answer, like, what's wrong? And so I'd put this mask on, and then that's me being inauthentic. And the more we keep pretending that we're okay when we're not okay, the louder the depression gets, and the less comfortable it gets, because we're pretending to be someone we're not, or we're pretending to feel a certain way that isn't actually how we're feeling inside. And how does this all pertain to discovering one's purpose? Well, for me, in my experience, it was a crucial part of handing my life over and being like, I was right at the end of my tether. I'm on my knees. I'm struggling. I'm like down. In those moments, I'm like, fuck. Why am I here? What is my purpose for existing? Why so much pain? Pain is coming from pretending to be someone I'm not. The pain is coming from wearing masks that aren't authentic. The pain is coming from not looking at the parts of myself that wanted and needed attention and healing. And so my purpose became, in that moment, or my mission to discover my purpose was to learn who I am. Who am I? Because if I'm not Benjamin, that's just my name temporarily. If I'm not my kayaking achievements, if I'm not a world champion, if I'm not a YouTuber, if I'm not any of those things that are part of my beautiful story, who am I? I will need to know and discover this authentic part of me, because I can't carry on pretending to be someone I'm not. And the process of creative expression is a journey to discover one's true nature, one's true self. The true self, capital T, capital S. The divine, eternal consciousness that is residing in this temporary, mortal, physical body, with a story, with a name, with achievements, with failures, and the eternal soul is the authentic self, the capital S self, the God self, the fractal of the divine that has conscious awareness of my experience. And so I'm getting to know that version of me. But you can't just throw the fucking ego out. We need an ego, we need an identity. I got over-identified and over-individuated, and that went too far in that direction. I'm playing in the illusion of separation, where I'm like, it's just me, and everything that isn't attached to me is not me. And the reality is that I am you, you are me. I am this tree, I am this rock, I am everything in the universe. I am the whole universe in me. I am in the universe, and the whole universe is within me. At that end of the scale, at that end of the spectrum, you can start to understand that the unfathomable intelligence that resides in my conscious awareness, that my mind can't even comprehend, the totality of my experience, that's the unity consciousness. That's knowing that like everything is interconnected energetically, despite what my senses might allude to. And so then I was like, holy shit, there's so much more to life. There's so much more to life than I thought. I thought I was like unique. I thought I was, yeah, I've got unique fingerprints and the illusion is strong. And the addiction to this physical realm is strong. But that's not everything. There's so much more to life. In fact, I'm just a tiny fragment of the totality of existence, of the universe, of which I am intrinsically connected and a part of. And so from that place, I'm like, well, now I'm fucking inspired. Like, I prefer that aspect of me. I'll take that. That's the authentic version of me. The authentic version is that I am everything. And then I want to express that, and I want to behave like that, and I want to embody that deep knowing that I am you, you are me, and if I wrong you, I'm wronging me. And the way I love you is a reflection of the way I love me. And that's the journey. That's the journey of discovering oneself. And I'm right at the fucking beginning of it. And I'm just learning to love Benjamin. I'm really learning to love myself and be Benjamin and be that character. Like, I know that it's just a character. It's not like the truth of who I am. So if people are offended by me or take what I say personally or judge me as Benjamin, I'm like, oh, Benjamin doesn't even exist. Like, this is just a character that I'm playing a role. Look at this incredible forest. Oh. So what is our shared purpose, do you think? Like, as humans, to love each other? It seems like we have more consciousness, more awareness of ourselves than most animals do. Most animals are just animaling around. They're just on a certain level of consciousness where they're like aware of energy around them, but they don't know that they exist, and they can't comprehend their own place in space and time like we can. It's a blessing and a curse, because like once you wake up to a certain level of consciousness, like the human consciousness is like, oh, I am here, I exist, I am in a place, and now we have to figure that out and ask why. Whereas the rest of the animal kingdom and the universe kind of just gets on with itself, and it doesn't need to ask why, it just is being. We have to contemplate and consider what our beingness means, which is quite the rabbit hole to get lost down. I certainly have found that in going to like a momentary or long-term state of psychosis where it's too much to comprehend. Existence is so much to comprehend and to understand. We just kind of have to let it go. And we can deliberate over it and intellectualize things and dissect things and measure things and bring science to things and understand on a molecular level and on an atomic metaphysical level, and we can unpack it, and what's underneath it all? Nothing. Metaphysics says, and like atomic particle physicists and the smartest fucking people in the world who are have the brightest minds and the highest capacity to dissect what is going on here. When you go in, zoom, there's nothing there. Material matter seems to be an illusion. I didn't really expect this video to take this turn, but the illusion is where we can get addicted to that, but we only have the capacity to receive a certain very small bandwidth of the information, and information being energy and frequencies, the information that we are a part of and swimming in. We think that this is air, there's nothing here. Bullshit, it's full of air, this is atmosphere. Like, just because we can't necessarily see what's going on in this space right here doesn't mean there's nothing there. And that's quite a thing to consider and contemplate, because it means like we're kind of swimming in this soup of energy. And certainly I've had psychedelic experiences where I can have access, a short period of access to see and feel different levels of energy, which are really beautiful. But you're like, oh fuck, this is all happening always, all around me, forever, until the end of time, since the beginning of time. And I had no idea. What else don't I know about? And then you dive into the great mystery. Let go of the ego and like, I know who I am. I am this person, and it gets uncomfortable. And so you're like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to dive into this whole mystery of existence. And my experience was that I completely let go of my ego and even resented my ego. And now I'm falling back in love with it and learning to use Benjamin, learning to love the story and all the wins and losses and heartaches and every juicy little experience that I've been so blessed to have on this planet so far in my short 35 years. I can now look at and be like, whoa, what a time. Like, what really matters? All the things that have happened to me in the past really matter? Yes and no, because it definitely helps shape me and teaches me the things that I need to know to move forwards in my journey, and the beautiful divine lessons that I've received through pain and suffering. Now the pain and suffering has meaning, and now I'm like, oh fuck, if I can take the lessons from the pain and the suffering and become a better person, then maybe my purpose is just to become a better person day by day. What does a better person look like? That's up to me to decide. What does the best version of me look like? Who knows? But do I want to know? Do I want to hold on to that so tightly and be like, this is who I am? Or do I allow it to unfold and discover it for myself, one surprise after another, and then really let go and enjoy the journey of the unfoldment of my life? I prefer to just let it all unfold, and certainly that doesn't mean that I'm sat idle doing nothing. I am co-creating my reality, and that's where I work with Benjamin, with my ego, and I'm like loving that version of me, but I can let go all of the parts that made me feel like I'm inauthentic, all the parts that are definitely not Benjamin, all the parts that held fear, judgment, resentment, shame, all the parts of me that didn't feel like I was enough, all the parts of me that still don't feel like I'm worthy of love sometimes if I don't do something or achieve something or earn that love. And then all the parts of me that when the good things come into my life and love arrives in my life, something good, the parts of me that push it away because I still feel like, am I safe to receive? Like healing, seeing, bringing to awareness, healing, and letting go of all the parts of me that aren't from love. They're all from fear, and fear is needed for us to experience love in duality, but it's not who we are. I believe we are love. I believe that we are the frequency of love. I believe we live in a loving universe. I believe that all of this spectacular beauty is a consequence of the unknowably powerful, unshakable force of love. And when I speak to things like that, my body's like, fuck yeah. And that's how I know that it feels right, it feels aligned, it feels authentic. So now I'm like, okay, purpose, let's hone it in a little bit. Let's hone in these missions to align with my purpose. I want to steward love. I want to embody as much love as possible and give as much love as possible and receive as much love as possible. So how do I do that? How do I help remind people that we are living in an abundant, loving, limitless universe that our little human minds can't really contemplate? How do I encourage people to dive into the mystery of existence and go with the flow a little bit more? And then that becomes my mission, and that's why I'm making videos like this. And I love it. I feel aligned, I feel good. I feel like people, let me know if you're getting something from this video. Look at this beautiful place. Ah. The authentic Ben freaks the fuck out in nature and is like, my ego, who judges myself sometimes and is worried about what you might be thinking, oh, that guy's a bit weird. My ego's like, yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, nature's just sick, innit? Let me get a banging photo so I can get likes on Instagram. The authentic version of me is like, so yeah, here's another thing. It feels good as I get to know myself better and know what's authentic and what's not authentic. If someone judges me for being my authentic self, it's easier for me now to not take that shit personally. But if I love all aspects of myself and I don't judge myself, someone else slings some judgment at me, sometimes it stings a little bit. I'm like, yo, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, leave me alone. But it doesn't sit with me. I don't take it personally. I don't let it ruin my day. That's practice. Definitely takes practice. But yeah, keep fucking going. Keep going. Know yourself. Learn about who you are. Learn about who you are through the pain. The only way to like get rid of pain is by moving through it. And more often than not, when I'm making videos like this and I say something like that, it's for me. Like, I'm reminding myself to move through the pain. The gold that I seek is in the darkness of the caves that I'm scared to go into. Yet every time I go in and I come out with that gold, I'm like, oh yeah, the pain is temporary. The amount I suffer in that pain is actually, I choose how much I suffer in that pain. And then I'm not scared of pain. I'm not scared of the pain of life. And I'm also not scared for other people to be feeling pain. I don't want to cause suffering unnecessarily for other people. But when I see someone in pain or in a difficult time in their life, I'm obviously going to help them in any way I can. But I wouldn't want to take that away from them, knowing that what it's gifted me, what I've learned in that pain, all the gifts that come from that. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again, until we're prepared to go down here and feel like despair and sadness and depression and whatever else is down here in the underworld, in the shadow, in that darkness, until we go down there and discover that for ourselves and what it means to us and what's to be learnt down there, it's actually impossible for us to go up here and enjoy love and gratitude and abundance and the feeling of that we're meant to be here, the feeling of having meaning in our lives. And so yeah, life's a roller coaster, it goes like this. And I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you got something from it. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.